Okay, so I'm going to try an experiment and I want to kind of record it to see like what my findings are. Probably going to do it for the week, starting tonight. And then we're going to do it until Monday night, the following week, which is the 29th. Jaden's graduating, boop, 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 the 29th. I am what they classify as a coach, a healer, you know, a person who does a lot. And in this retrograde, because Mercury's in retrograde, in this retrograde is in Cancer, which is home and family and stuff. And the mother and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of things surfacing for me that honestly I didn't even know was there until like recent. So one of the things that came up was me not believing that people will love me if I'm not useful, if I'm not always doing something or coaching or asking them what's going on and helping them unpack stuff. So, and it's funny because the people that I work with, nobody watches my fucking TikToks. Nobody watches my YouTube channel. It's like they do it by accident, but I digress. So it's like, I'm kind of like in my feelings right now. So I think the experiment that I'm going to do is I am going to shut up. I am going to wait and just see who, like, how can I say this? Those that know what I'm talking about, you know what you're talking about. You're that friend that you talk for the first time and you haven't talked in a while. And you're like, yo, how's everything going? What's up with you? And then your friend is like, oh, I'm fine. And you can hear that they're not fine. And then instead of just being like, okay, catch up with you later, you know that something's not right. And you know that they deal with a lot of shit. So I'm that friend that's like, okay, I can hear, and I'm a fucking energy healer. So it's like, I could feel your energy is off, like what's going on, but what I'm noticing in this retrograde, what I'm noticing is people don't ask me if I'm okay. People don't ask me how things are going. People don't ask me about my business. People don't really ask me about anything of interest for me. And I'm noticing that. And I'm just like, and I'll be like, hey, how are you? What's going on? You said you were going to do this. What are you doing? And all this other stuff. And I'm realizing that it's not reciprocated. It's like it's weird. It's like a weird way to explain it because I do a lot, so I guess I could explain it away and be like, well, people just, they know I do a lot, so they don't really ask. No, that's not it. you know um because it's like I need someone to be like, hey Keisha, how's stuff going? Because this is hard work. I'm not just sitting around playing and making nice things, which I am sitting around making nice things, but it's like it takes a lot of work. And there are times that you doubt yourself. You doubt that you're going to do what you said you're going to do. Even though you're cranking stuff out, you're making stuff. It's like there's still that lingering doubt, like maybe it's not really going to happen in this lifetime. Maybe the love that you're looking for, it's not going to happen in this lifetime. Maybe the person that you thought you were supposed to be with, you're not going to be with that person in this lifetime. It's like those things are happening, and it behooves me that no one goes, hey, how are you? And really wants to know how I'm doing. So we're going to do an experiment and we're going to just shut up, because I do feel that the only reason most of the people talk to me is because I have something on the stove. Hold on one second. Don't go nowhere. And I'm back. I almost burned up my salmon. So this is what happens when you record. I'm like, I'm just going to be on here for 2 seconds. No, 2 seconds turns into like hours. But anyway, so like I was saying, I am going to do an experiment. I am going to just exist. I'm not going to. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know if this is going to work because I'm used to just talking. I'm used to someone someone, and it's funny because I don't know if this happens to other healers or other like counselors and stuff. You'll be just sitting there and all of a sudden people just start telling you shit. They start telling you stuff. A lot of the stuff you have no business knowing. Like you have no business knowing. And a lot of the times I'm sitting there looking at them like, why are you telling me this? You know? And I understand why they're telling me because it's like I usually do have pretty good, insightful things for them to try. And I know a lot about a lot of different things, and I know different people in different areas of like business. And I've worked I worked in a diamond company where I actually counted diamonds. Like I counted diamonds. I know the difference between like a pure diamond, blah blah blah, whatever. It's all just gems, so it doesn't really make any difference. But I worked at a PR firm. I worked at, I worked in marketing. I work as an executive assistant. I've worked as an executive assistant so many places. I even worked at Channel 13 one time, but I digress. So it's like when people talk to me about stuff, I kind of know how to fix it. And it's like I don't set out to be the fixer. I don't set out to fix things for people. I don't set out to give anyone advice. Just like half the time, I don't set out to make a video, make a deck or like an oracle deck or a freaking book, jewelry. I don't really set out to do these things. It kind of just happens. I'm literally stumbling my way into success because it's like I I've watched people be like, "Oh, I plan it. I know exactly what's going to happen. I wrote out a script. I wrote a script. I wrote this and this and this, and I jotted shit down. Like even that speaking engagement that I had, right? I saw all the women on that panel. They had things written out and all this other stuff. I don't operate like that. I really don't. It's like whatever question you give me, like give it to me and I'll either quarterback it and throw it back at you or like catch it, receive it and take it somewhere. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing football, but anyway, because the Knicks just won, so I don't understand, but I digress. But it's hard. It's going to be hard for me because I am that type of person that I don't like seeing people struggle. I don't like seeing people flail or like I don't even know the word for it, but it's like you're drowning and I'm looking at you and I know exactly how to get you out of that water. And all you got to do is listen to me. It's hard for me to not say it. Does that make sense? It's hard for me not to channel your spirit team is like, bitch, I told you 20 freaking times, stop doing this. You know, it's difficult for me not to do it because it's like I feel like I'm not using the gifts that I was given for what they were used for. But what I'm starting to understand is the people that are around me, they're full. They're full. They're full. They're so full of me and what I've given and what I do. It's like I publish a book and nobody flinches. Like I published a book today. Nobody cares. Like nobody flinches because it's just like, oh, it's Tuesday. And I have been operating in that deficit for a really long time where it's just like the people around me, the people around me are not in shock or in awe of what I do anymore because it's become the norm. And since it's become the norm, nobody's like, it's funny because people come up to me like I was wearing one of my House of Kayla dresses to work, right? And one of my colleagues came to me and she was just like, that's one of your dresses? I was like, yeah, it's one of my dresses. She was like, huh, the blue and orange. And she just walks off. She wasn't like, it's nice. How much is it? None of it. It was just like, oh yeah, Keisha wears her own clothes. Like Keisha designs clothes and wears her clothes. Like the hoodie, the sweatshirt that I have on, the jewelry that I have on. It's like no one's really, the people around me are not in like awe of it anymore. And honestly, I don't think they ever, I don't even think they ever were. I think this is the universe telling me stop complaining. But I don't think they ever were. But from the people that I've been watching on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, the people that I've been watching that are ahead of me in what I'm doing, they keep saying this happens. Like they keep saying that the people closest to you, they're not gonna really support what you're doing because they know you. And I'm just like, yeah, that sucks because I'm not like that. It's like, if you're doing something, I'm going to do my best to support you any which way I can. But I'm also realizing everyone is not like me. So that's why we are going to try. And I say try very loosely because I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I'll come back and let you know. Like, yeah, the experiment didn't work. It lasted an hour. I'm going to sit and not really respond to the bait. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to respond to the bait. It's like, because like I said, usually people would be like, yeah, I'd be like, hey, how are you? And they'd be like, I'm okay. Yeah, and I'm like, you don't sound okay. What's wrong? Because they know I'm going to go, hey, you don't sound okay. What's wrong? But what we're going to do now is when they don't sound okay, that is not my monkey, not my circus, and it's not my problem. If you don't know that I'm an energy healer, a coach, and I can pretty much build whatever you need or get it done, I'm not going to sit here and try to campaign for your approval or for your to be seen. And like I said, this retrograde is kicking my ass. So it's like I've been going over old territory because that's what retrograde, Mercury in retrograde is. You're going over old territory. And it's like there are times that I'm in meditation, my type of meditation, where I'm talking to my spirit team and I'm like, why are we talking about this? And I'm like, do I need to clear something with this? Why are we even bringing this person up? And they're like, yeah, you need to clear it out because I've done a lot of clearing. And the majority of the stuff now is that residue. You got to get, because if not, that shit will grow back. It will grow back because it'll compound other stuff on top of it. So right now I'm like cleaning the residue that's left over from the shit. Because I was like, I thought we cleared all this stuff. They're like, yeah, we cleared it, but you didn't really quite get the understanding of what happened to you. And I'm just like, because it was like, today they were like, oh, why do you like always feel that you need to be useful? And I was just like, so they made me unpack that. And it was like, it stemmed from being a kid. You wanted your parents' approval. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. You understand? It wasn't like how it is now where most parents are very attentive. At least where I live and the people I know, they're extremely attentive with their kids. They're extremely hands-on. They do their best to support the kids' dreams. They don't squash their dreams. They don't, if they tell you, I want to be an astronaut, you're not going to be like, you can't be an astronaut. They're not going to tell you stuff like that. When I was growing up, they would tell you shit like that. They'd be like, you black, you can't be an astronaut. And you'd be like, what the hell? I remember I said I wanted to be a barber. I didn't realize that barbers aren't for girls. I thought it was for boys. I was like 5 and it was like, and I cut my hair. So I got in trouble. My aunt was there. I got in trouble and my mother was like, why did you do this? And I said, because I want to be a barber. And then she was like, girls aren't barbers. And I remember my aunt going to her, don't tell her that. She was like, people pay good money to get their hair cut and hairstyle. But I was talking about stylist. I wasn't talking about a barber. But I digress. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like I literally grew up in that era where it was kids are to be seen and not heard. But the funny thing was, we were also the servants. We always had to cater and serve our parents. That's why Gen X parents get really angry at their kids when they're like, oh, and oh. I'd be like, what? Not only did I have to do stuff for my parents, mostly my mom, and she wasn't nice about it. It was like my job, and she wasn't nice about it. And guess what? I couldn't have a bad attitude because guess what? A fucking shoe would be flying at my head or something. I would get slapped up. You couldn't oh my God, the way these kids now be like, I couldn't do that. I personally couldn't do that because you would get your ass beat. I couldn't do that. My parents would be like, no, that's not true. That's your version of my life, but this is my version of my life. And no, I couldn't just be like, I don't want to. And all this other stuff. That wasn't my lot in life. It wasn't. So it's like, all I know how to do is serve. All I know how to do is be useful. Please, my parents, anytime when I started talking or saying something or just like, if I tripped and fell or something like that, they'd be like, go do something constructive. Didn't know what the fuck constructive meant. So I just went and did shit. I started taking shit apart. I was good at taking stuff apart. Couldn't quite put it back together, but I always took shit apart, and I know this is all over the place because it's like, I'm trying to make you understand like what the hell is going on in my brain right now. And my brain is fully retrograde right now. And I want to learn how to use my gifts that I've been given, but not be used for my gifts. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, I feel like I'm being used and not being reciprocated for it. And it bothers me sometimes, especially like during these types of season where it's like, you're not outputting as much as you used to, but it's like you're trying to maintain a structure and make videos and stuff, but you're seeing that the people closest to you don't quite care about what you're doing. And it makes you go, damn, like if they don't care about what I'm doing, no one else is going to fucking care about what I'm doing, because they should care about what I'm doing because I'm here to support them. But I'm learning that that's not how that works. So if this is going to help me, I hope it helps someone else too. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, even if no one's like clapping or whatever, because at the end of this game, you want to say you did it. I said, I want to say I made the jewelry and I did my hair and, I did everything that I said I wanted to do, but we're going to do that experiment. And I'm going to tell you how it goes. This video was all over the place. I am so sorry. But yeah, we're going to shut up. We're going to shut up and see who. The funny thing is, I'm supposed to get off, but the funny thing is, I'm always like, one more thing. The funny thing is, when I'm quiet and I'm just like in my thoughts and I'm not really talking, or like people will bait me in conversation and be like, yeah, I'm going to go see so-and-so, or I'm going to do this, and knowing that I told you that that's not a good person for you to hang out with, but you're going to do what you want. So it's like when I'm quiet and my energy is pulled in, people tend to feel very uneasy. People feel uneasy. They feel worried. And I'm looking at them like, what is your problem? And it's just like, are you okay? Why are you so quiet? I was like, I just don't got nothing to say. And then it's just like, what am I, a fucking clown? I'm not here to entertain you, you know? So it's just like, do something. You do something. How about you carry a conversation? And I'm noticing that I carry the majority of my conversations. And that I need to start pulling back on, because like I told you, the people around me are full. They're full, and they when people become full, they become gluttonous, and they don't appreciate what they're being served, and they take it for granted. So, and this is textbook Scorpio. I'm telling you right now, I am so in my Scorpio right now. This is textbook Scorpio. You don't appreciate what I'm doing, I'm out. You understand? You don't appreciate me, I'm out. I'm like, we talk about you for a good half hour to fucking 45 minutes, but you don't have time to at least go, hey, how's everything going with you? That's fucking ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And if that is happening to you, I am so sorry. You don't deserve that. Especially if you're the friend that makes sure everyone is okay. All right. This time I'm really going to get off. I love you guys. Stay up, stay blessed. I will let you know how this goes. Deuces, and I'm out.